Welcome back to Beyond the Helmet. And of course, that is hashtag BTHpod if you're following on social media. I'm your host, Steve McGrath. And today, man, it's my pleasure. We're going to chop it up with another guy that's about to hit the NFL. It is none other than All-American, DeMarco Jackson. How's it going tonight, man?
Going great, man. Glad to be on here with you, man, and chop it up.
I appreciate you taking the time. There's so many things I want to ask you. I mean, we're recording this at the end of March. Every day you take one step closer to the draft. I know that's sort of the end all be all, regardless if you go drafted, undrafted, what round. This sort of sets the stage for how this next chapter is going to take shape. So from the jump, how are you staying calm? How are you relaxing? How are you structuring your days right now?
I mean, like, I pretty much just got a set routine that I try to follow. Like, for me, I realized, you just got to know yourself. Like, I try to, I got a set routine for like mornings, for mornings, my afternoons and evenings. Like, I just try to make sure, like, on task, like making sure that at the end I'm like checking all the boxes mentally in my mentally that I can be. Just not trying to put so much emphasis into the draft, like you said, on what round, what the circumstance may be. For me, it's just making sure, like when I got these interviews, making sure when I got these workouts or the visits, just making sure I'm just being myself, being honest with everybody, um, things like that. So I just feel like you getting the true me. It is not no trying to do work differently, trying to work differently. It's just be you and see what happens.
Yeah. So do you find that structure kind of helps you relax because you feel like you're checking all the boxes?
Yes, definitely.
Very cool. Yeah, I have to ask because I mean I know I'd be going probably pretty crazy if I were in your shoes. Um, but so we still got a couple days in March left. So if I have this right, in a couple days on the 31st, App State's going to have their pro day. Is that something that you plan on doing any drills or anything in particular on?
Yeah, definitely. The combine this year, I pretty much just ran the 40 and broad jump, but I'm gonna have to go back and do bench press, redo the vert. I'm gonna do L drill and cone drill and pretty much just hit up the do the position work.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask about the combine. I saw that you had done a couple of drills. I didn't see anything about injuries or whatnot. So what was since you had mentioned it, what was the rationale behind your approach to the combine? What was your just decision making on what you really wanted to do and what you wanted to skip?
I mean, for me, it was just with the bench press being the same day, I just didn't want to wake my nervous system up and go later on that late. Like go bench at 11 o'clock, go sit around, then turn it back on at 7 o'clock at night. So me and my trainer and agent, we all just collab. Like we came together and we just thought this is something you can do at pro day if you just didn't feel comfortable or feel like you wouldn't be at the right advantage for it. So I just said, yeah, let's do that. And pretty much I was planning on doing the L drill and cone drill, but when it came to about 10:30 after the position work, it was just kind of late, and I just felt like let's just give it. I wouldn't be able to put my best foot forward, so let's just do it. Come at pro day.
I feel like every year guys like yourself just have to be a little more tactical about making these decisions because everything anytime you do anything, everyone's going to see it. So it's just like you always want to make sure it's the best performance and the best numbers. And I'm actually surprised that more guys didn't do it your way, especially the bench. I mean, like this gives you what, like an extra 3-4 weeks to like maybe get a couple more reps up. I mean, it's a tactical move that could really help.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you got more time to prepare for it. I
And it's
mean,
bench press. I mean, like it's not like it means anything on the field anyway.
I mean, it's really just a test for your endurance. See, I guess I don't really know the science about it, but that's what I like my trainer talk. We talk about just an endurance test mostly.
Yeah, right. So actually, if you weren't going to be preparing strictly for the bench, right? If you're just training football wise, like if a young linebacker was listening to this, like what are some of like your go-to lifts that you would recommend for building yourself up, particularly to play your position?
Lift.
Yeah, lift
Um,
or even like a drill if you really like to drill too.
for me, I would just say young guys, like just drilling on your technique. I think that's one thing you can never get enough of, like drills, like just hands, just feet, just the little small things. Cause, you know, those things are some of the first things to go when you get tired. You know what I mean? So, I mean, just drilling into them to make that second nature, like you ain't even got to think about it. It's just part of you. You say, you know what I mean? And for lift, I have to say, for me, I just try to build up my shoulders as much as I can. You know, you're a backer, you're going to be hitting and just making sure you got a strong foundation for, you know, just for endurance, for taking on linemen, having lower body strength, and always stretches wise, I'll say always work on your hips. I feel like that's every linebacker. Work on your hips, work on man coverage, work on eyes. Like I think that's a huge part of the game. For me, I feel like football is really mental for a lot of things. Like going into a game, like you should already know what to expect. It shouldn't be no surprise. And that's how I study film, like preparation and things like that.
So I couldn't help myself. I brought us right into playing the position, but I got a little too far ahead because right before the combine, I did want to bring up the Senior Bowl, just talking about the last couple months here. One of the things that I found is, for anytime people were talking about like you and your game, like you were a guy that could have really benefited from the Senior Bowl. And there's like, well, let's see how he does against top competition, because of course we love to slight our non-power 5 conference teams coming from App State. So they had that question mark about you. And then like, how are you going to do? And then everything after, that point in time, people read about you. It's like, well, you did well. Everyone loved the way that you had performed. So going into that, because there's always the knock against the small town, small school prospects. Did you feel any added pressure that you had to do something?
Nah, man, I don't really feel pressure at all. Like for me, I try to stay my head out of the media. I mean, like it's that stuff can really kill it. That stuff can really like mess with you mentally and physically. I mean, like just mentally a lot. So for me, I just try to stay on my game. Like I'm well connected in with some great players in NFL and some great trainers, like I said, and just previous college coaches, like coaches. So I just get some, you know, some recommendations or some information from them on things that they see that I can or that I don't see myself. So for me, I don't add pressure. I just go into the game just having that mentality, like it's the same for you. I mean, like you playing against guys, like they're no different than you. I mean, you just go play ball. It ain't I ain't really think, from App State. Like I don't look at it like that. I just look like I'm like it ain't no more App State. It ain't no more small school. It's like NFL now. Like it's ball, like regardless.
Yeah,
So
I think it's out of date. Like I maybe like 20 years ago and beyond, it might have made more sense to question someone coming from a small school. But I mean, I think that just like with a coach Deion Sanders is doing at Jackson State, like you're going to see more HBCU kids just by him bringing attention to it. I think it was a matter of the attention. I don't know if it was ever really a knock against the talent, but guys like yourself, like every year you're seeing guys pop off in the NFL that are non-power 5 guys.
yeah, I mean, I just think this goes to show you, like a lot of guys out of the Sun Belt, especially, and out of the Conference USA, like look at them, like you see that Conference USA got a lot of players. You see the Sun Belt got a lot of players, like top players. So I feel like the talent's just the same for me. I mean, yeah, I feel like the talent's just the same for me going into the Senior Bowl. I feel like I was just playing my game. Like I wasn't worrying about nobody. Like I wasn't worried. I was just Power 5 guys now. Like no, it was like a mentality thing for me. Like you belong here. Just play your game. Don't do what you've been doing. Got you here. So don't watch change it. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you said that, because you're another guy like most guys, right? Maybe you're not a rock star as a freshman, but you built yourself up year after year. So I mean, it's easy for you to play your game coming off being the defensive player of the year in the conference. So can you talk a little bit about how you became that guy, because you obviously had to improve your game, as you get a little older, get more experience under your belt. How did you approach this last year for you to really take it to a new level?
I mean, for me, it was just more of, like I said, like this whole game for me is really mental, and that's how I look at it. A lot of it's physical. You got to put in the work on the field, off the field, like definitely weight room, stretching, making sure like it's like a lot of pre-step things that I do. Like I'm always on stretching every day. I'm on YouTube looking at some videos of, like, just NFL players that I just I like their playing style. So I look at keys that they do to try to help me in my games. I try to see if it will affect me. So like I'm always just trying to, for me, I'm always trying to get that curve on the person. Like I'm trying to get that advantage. I'm trying to get the edge on every opponent that I'm playing against. No, because I'm just knowing what you're up against. I feel like a lot of times for me, just taking on that role, like I was a captain this year. So it was more of, hey man, like players recommend me as captain. So I took that as like great pride, definitely. But I'm saying, like, I was still the same person through it all. I just came into work every day. Like that's the type of leader I am. I'm coming to work every day. No job's too small. Like that type of mentality. If it's picking up trash off the field, if it's cleaning up the locker room after practice, if it's, just you're walking through the facility and you see something that's not in place, like just fix it. Like don't just walk by and just hope somebody else do it or hope a janitor do it. So that's not the type of, this is all how you look at things in life. You know what I mean? So really it's just, I'll have to say, like, I just learned from App State got so many great players before me, just taking in the information that I seen them do, I do myself. Like it helped me through the way, helped me become the person I am. And a big person I look up to is Akeem Davis. And man, we were roommates. We done a lot of stuff together. And we were just good boys. Like we still talk to this day. He helps me out through this draft process, one of the guys. And like just being with him, and like I'm just blessed and fortunate enough that I cross paths with a lot of players, coaches, and just supporters, like people that's in the community, the people that support us, that they help me. They don't even know it, but they help me out so much in different ways that I can never repay them for,
Yeah, yeah. And I'm still trying to get Akeem on the show, so maybe you can put in a good word for me. But you said two things in there that I really want to ask more about. The first is, so when you put on YouTube and you're looking at guys in the NFL, who do you watch? Whose game are you trying to emulate?
I'm not trying to. I wouldn't say. We're looking at it.
Emulate's the wrong word, because these people
Yeah.
are going to be your peers. So I don't necessarily mean to like look up to it, but like who do you see to be like, hey, what part of his game can I take and put into mine?
Like when it's just a simple YouTube search. Like for me, it's just simple, man. Like going to NFL Network TV thing, and you just see the coaches breaking down film, understand coverage. Like that's the biggest thing, young guys. Like understand your coverages. Like understand cover one, understand cover three, understand like 6-4, all that stuff. Like and understand it in your defense to where you know where the weaknesses is. But going back to the question, I watch a lot of players. Like I watch the coaches on there. I watch the linebackers like D. Leonard's on there, Fred Warner's on there, Levante David. Like it's just like little keys that they do. Like it's hard to explain, but just like pre-snap things that they might check out, or it's better recognition of like plays that you're going to get out of this formation and things like that. So just trying to raise my football IQ, like
Yeah.
small.
So the other thing I really wanted to ask, it sounds like from being this kid that's a redshirt freshman that shows up to school to getting to where you are today, maybe it wasn't like one pivotal moment. It was just kind of wax on, wax off. You see what the upperclassmen had done year in and year out, and you kind of knew what the standard was. Or did you have that conversation with a coach, a teammate, just that moment where you said, man, I really got to do X, Y, and Z if I'm really going to make this work? I feel like guys fall into one of those two.
Yeah, for me, it was just more of I just need to see the right ways. Like I'm always willing to do extra work. Like I'm always willing to go to work. That's never the problem with me. The problem is the thing is I just want to see is just show me the way. Show me the way. Like show me. I like to look up to other players like Hakeem. Like just show me like what helped you out so much. Let me just go. Like he said, like extra work. Like I'm in the facility Saturdays, Sundays, no matter what the time is, I'm in there doing some type of drills. I'm in there stretching. I'm just always doing something. And that's what just brought me up, and just the mental part again, just like some players come right in, freshman think you're going to be a starter. But honestly, like I didn't really start until probably like my junior year. Junior year, I didn't really become a starter. I actually like played straight special teams, and I took it with pride. Like think off punt, kick off return, punt return. Like I played all of those. Like, and I took it with pride, trying to make the most tackle. I keep up with the guys who's in the game playing, and I'm trying. Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I can
You
hear
there?
you. Yeah, it got a
I
little
got
choppy,
you.
but I
Yeah.
can hear you.
So, but yeah, so like I always joke with Akeem, like, bro, I'm still getting tackles like you, like close to you, and I'm just playing special teams. You know what I'm saying? So just like laugh, just joking with things like that. So I actually another thing is I really didn't. A younger guy came in after me and beat me out for the starter spot, but I didn't let that get to me mentally. Like that's something like that should be my spot, but I just kept playing my position, like playing special teams, doing everything I can. And then like near the end of the season, I earned that spot. Like special teams helps backers out, I feel like so much. It helps you develop so many skills that you don't even really recognize.
But I also think that there's a real testament to you in there for if someone took your spot, for you to fight back for it, for you to put in the time with what opportunities you did have in the field. I'm sure you focused on film, prep work, everything else to make sure that you were ready to take it back when the opportunity presented itself. You could have just as easily said like, F this, like I'm done. I quit basically.
Yeah. I mean, my main thing was he had the spot he wanted. For me is being a number 2 linebacker going in. I'm studying the playbook just as much as anybody, thinking I'm the starter going into it with that type of mentality, knowing I'm probably just playing special teams today. Like that type of mentality for me. So I didn't, yeah, it's a little discouraging sometimes. You might get under the weather, you might just not see it. Like you might not just see it, like just get discouraging. But I mean, for me, it was just to stay focused. Like I just had to remind myself, stay
Yeah,
focused, like trust it, like just trust it, just trust the process.
there you go. Well, man, this is maybe a little off topic, but from what I gathered about your high school in even earlier years, state champ in discus. So
Yeah.
how much did non-football activities help you be a good athlete and be ready to step onto the college football scene and make moves?
I mean, for me, it was just I feel like the more you do with your body activity wise, the more balance you come, the more you really understand your body, your limits, and your what you can do and what you can do. And for me, it was just I played any sport I can. Like I played basketball all the time. I done track all the time. I love throwing discus. I run 100, 200, done all those type of events. Even tried wrestling for a little bit, but for me, it was just just do anything you can, like just stay active.
Now, if I have this right as well, some of the other wrestling that you had done revolved around calves and bull riding and growing up with a family
Yeah.
farm. Is that all accurate?
So bull riding, like it wasn't no like crazy bull riding, like in like middle school or whatever. Like I like maybe done it on a farm or something like that, just out of the heck of it. But we ain't. It wasn't like the actual like, oh, let's do it in the arena. Like I wasn't that crazy like to get in there. But I done calf stirring. I done calf rest. Like I done all those type of things. And I mean that stuff right there, that was just me and my brother just having fun. Like it's just
I love
something we
it.
done. We had just like a cattle farm, and it's just some of the things we did all together. I mean, it just brought us together.
It's very cool. Well, man, as I'm getting toward wrapping up here, one question that I like to ask everyone before we hit the gauntlet is, obviously this is the end of the college career. Um, I know it's all football, it's all that matters, but no matter how long of a career you have, at some point you're no longer going to be a professional athlete. What are some of the things that you're interested in outside of the game for when that day does come?
For me, I'm currently like that's not like I'm just trying to get as many like right now I'm just trying to get as many connections as possible. Like I just got my business management degree and I'm trying to get an MBA right now. And for me, just finishing out school, getting going as far as I can with my degrees, but also, I mean, I want to do something with business. I want to do that. Like that's a goal. Like that's a goal I don't want to sit back on when I'm older and do. But also looking to like doing real estate right now. Doing real estate right now, like with my signing bonus, like doing something with that, taking a part of that. But I mean, with a business degree, I just want to be an entrepreneur. Like whatever the market is in need, and I have a chance to do it, it's filling a void in the market. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. And I mean, this depends a lot on where you'll live with whatever franchise, whatever city you have to go to. But I got to shout out Hakeem Ballas. He used to play, he played a couple years in the NFL for the Lions and the Cardinals. And he house hacked. He used his signing bonus money to buy like a 4-family, lived in one unit basically for free because he rented out the other 3 units, and it set himself up to get into real estate the second he was done being a professional athlete. So
Yeah.
if real estate's already on your radar, I can't recommend that enough. Phenomenal strategy for building wealth and having a career outside of the game. But man, as we get to wrapping up here, I hope you're ready for the gauntlet. I got a couple quick questions for you, starting with what's most important. Is it having the number one offense or the number one defense?
I feel like having the number one defense.
Fair enough. Now, what's most important? Is it the players or is it the scheme?
Players of the scheme. For me, it's the players.
Fair enough. Most guys say Jimmy's and Joe's over the X's and O's, so I think you're right. Now, to date, I know a lot can change with a lot more football ahead of you, but what's your favorite football memory? Does one or two, anything really pop out at you?
I mean, just that moment of, I guess, playing, when we beat 2019, beating UNC, beating South Carolina in that season, 13-1. I mean, that was a special season for us.
Definitely. Pre-game, any rituals that you have, anything you have to do before you step out there?
Oh man, I gotta text my mom, I love you, my little sister, I love you, my girl, I love you. I gotta text. I gotta read my Bible, sit down, I got a verse I read, and pretty much say a prayer, and it's time to go.
What's the verse?
Man, what is it from? It's from it's like the it's I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Then it's the Lord's Prayer. And I want to say the other one. What is it? I want to say I can't just remember. I want to just throw it out there.
I shouldn't have put you on the spot. It's my bad.
No, man, I sound bad. I say it all the time. Oh man, I'll have to. I can't say it. I would get my Bibles right over there, but I don't want to.
Oh, I trust you. I'm not doubting you for a second that you do it. So, man, we'll get off that and we'll end with the most important question. And it is just considering everything you've already accomplished. What is the best piece of advice that you'd give to a young student athlete out there about how do they go from 16, 17 years old to being primed to make it in the NFL?
Yeah, I'll have to say, man, just stay committed to what's important to you. Like, don't be scared to work hard. Don't be scared. Don't be, like I said, just stay committed to what's important to you. Like, if football is important, like, you shouldn't be out doing, like, just making sure your head on straight, like, making sure you're committed to the game. Making
There you
sure
have
you're
it.
committed. Yeah.
Simply said, a little harder to actually do, but wise words nonetheless. DeMarco, thank you so much for taking the time to actually close this out. Now, where can everyone follow you on social media?
Oh, Instagram, DeMarco Jackson 1. Twitter, DeMarco Jackson 20.
Well, there it is, man. Thank you so much for taking the time and best wishes.
Man, I appreciate it a lot, man.